Hello, Facebook fans and YouTube fans of DX Engineering. It is Thursday afternoon here in the Eastern Time Zone in the USA. It is 1930 Zulu on December 14th, 2023. And this is the Manufacturer Showcase. We've got over 180 different manufacturers that we represent here at DX Engineering. And today we're very, very happy to have Callum on from DX Commander. Hello, Callum.
Hello, sir. A very good day and welcome, everybody. I would say I had a load of pre-prepared stuff, but knowing you, Tim, you've probably got your standard questions, so I better shut up and wait. and wait for the Duffy punch.
Right. Everybody wants to know what's new.
What do they? Fantastic. Well, we've got 3 pallets in a warehouse right now about to be shipped to you guys, and in those pallets are some ground tubes for the Rapide. So this is the Homeowners Association Nirvana. This is a guyless 7 meters, 24 feet, I think that is 25 feet.
Yep.
40 through to 6. 6 maybe with a nudge of the ATU. It depends how lucky you are. It's 40 to 10 or 30 to 10, right? You either have 40 or 30. Guyless, put it in the corner of the backyard, out the way, next to a tree. You're into the DX Commander world. You have to dig a little hole, about 18 inches deep, a regular spade. And then in the UK, we don't have Home Depot, but we've got other suppliers. And you can buy a little bag of something called Postcrete, if you know what I mean. So you just set it in, pour some water in, a bit of Postcrete, and it'll hold it 10 minutes, it's gone off. Slip the pole over the top. Guyless, out the way, nice and easy for, it's certainly under $300 your end, Yeah, so that's what's new. But you've pushed me, so I've announced it. but you haven't got the stock.
We've got it in the ground now. But what about radios?
Oh, I'm about to make a video. I mean, you can go down as I made a video once, Tim, called "Will It Work?" And I don't know what the title was, but that was the thing. Everybody sends me. We'll talk about radios. They send me like pictures and diagrams of bits of wire, and I've got a tree here, and I've got an annex there, and whatever. They say, will it work? Now, when it comes to 40 meters, will it work? You're the man. Will it work? You've got 200 foot and 100 feet and 3 or 4 element Yagis. Yes, it'll work. So everything's a step down from there. Will it work? So you can get this to work with 3-foot radials. All right. Now you're going to be 1 or 2 dB off the guy who's got them maybe quarter of a wavelength on 20 meters. It'll still work. And you are, 1 or 2 dB. You and I are always after 1 or 2 dB. I'm well aware of that. But your average Joe who just wants to enjoy the hobby on a Saturday afternoon or a Sunday night or something, 1 or 2 dB isn't actually that much. So as long as there's a little carpet, lots of little radials, 3-4 foot long, maybe not symmetrical. Maybe it's right in the corner of the backyard. Rudy Sevens, he did a lot of experiments on this. He took quarter wave. If you remember, he took quarter wave, 16, I think it was, and 32, and 64 quarter wave radials. He cut them in half and reconnected them back into the circuit, if you know what I mean. It was the same amount of copper. He could hardly detect a difference on eighth of wave or quarter wave. And I crossed the Atlantic on 80 meters with radials that were 10 foot long on 80. I don't know what that is a percentage, but it's pretty small, isn't it? I mean, I wasn't running that much power, maybe 500 watts, something like that. On SSB, it's not like, I was on CW or, FT8 or even Whisper. Whisper at 500 watts. We were actually, all the YouTubers in the UK, we got together at my factory. One weekend, we booked it out and had a word with the landlord. We might be a bit noisy. And we'd had a few beers, and we did, on a dead band, we did Whisper at, I think it was 400 watts. And sure enough, we were heard all around the world. That was good fun as well. because it's a hobby, isn't it? I know you and I, Tim, we're interested in numbers, keeping the staff happy, the stock in the warehouse and all that sort of stuff. But at the end of the day, even you, Tim, you still enjoy the hobby. It's a fun, scientific, interesting piece of hobby. It can be competitive, with the contests and everything. But so anyway, that's about radials.
Yep.
That's the long way of answering. You don't need as many as the books tell you. And incidentally, Tim, sorry to interrupt. I think it was Dr. John Brown in the 20s.
Yes.
He's the guy that invented the myth, and it wasn't a myth at the time, of the 120 radials. But when you read his paper, and it's kind of old-fashioned, but it's nicely done, it's good experimentation, it was for a shortened vertical. It was for like 8th wave. And then he discovered it. Yeah, getting more copper was important. But for a longer radiator, as Rudy Seven discovered it wasn't so important. Maybe I know one thing more than you, Tim.
No, and Brown had a few friends, Lewis and Epstein.
Oh, I wish I hadn't bloody mentioned this now.
Who were also in on that, and the the lore of this was that they ran out of wire at 120 radials.
Is that? Do you think right? I wonder. They could have got an 1/8 of a dB more with another 25 miles.
Right. They ran out of wire, but one of the things about the DX Commander is, though, that now that DXpeditions are going out, now that COVID is kind of a thing of the past, we're hearing a lot of these DXpeditions using the DX Commander as their antenna.
Yeah. I mean, if they contact me, well in advance, and I can talk to the team leader, I do them a deal or free shipping, all that sort of stuff. And just to make sure I support them before they take it with them. And I've got a spare parts list for a DXpedition. You know what I mean? Like a spare pole, a spare SO2, things that are difficult to manufacture on site.
Right.
And then ship in the box to wherever they are at home. Make sure that as a team they build it, put it up and down 2 or 3 times, then put it all in the big bag or whatever else, and send it out to Wagahugu Island or something. But they do. In the old days, do you remember? Well, I think, see, Tim, you've been doing this game longer than me. I was brought up with the fact that you either had a dipole or a Yagi, right? And all my club members wrote off verticals. They told me not to go down that route, and I didn't, And it was an accident that I just put a vertical up by the sea, and I mean by the sea. I fully realised, Tim, that you get an extra 10 dB by the sea, particularly with a vertical, But that hooked me. It really did hook me. The fact that you could do that. But anyway, what I was saying is that I think I'm the only person really that's kind of resold the idea of a vertical. In the last 10, 15 years. There's a Hustler that does very well, isn't there?
Yes.
Yeah, with the traps and stuff. I mean, whatever, because it's compact, isn't it? And it works very well. But for multi-band, no tune, and it's a bit of engineering in the DX Commander. You've got to spend an afternoon, where you take measure and that sort of thing. And people enjoy that as well. After all, it's a sort of a construction happy hobby, sciencey hobby.
It is.
And it was Tom M0MCX that once said to me, I tell you what the magic is, Callum. He said, it's like visual science. You look at the thing, you go, oh, look, there's 20 metres. There's 15. There's 17. Yeah, it's good fun.
Yeah.
I love it.
And it's great to make something, to have something.
Isn't it? I know.
That you actually, you took some time, you read the instructions, and then you got on the air. And you look out, and it's fascinating, but it's also very efficient because no traps, no funny stuff.
No funny stuff.
Right.
Can I use that, Tim? Can I have a little? Tim Duffy says no funny stuff.
No funny stuff.
Lovely.
So what about 2024? What about 2024?
There is a project in the pipe. There is no way in a month of Sundays, Mr. Duffy, I'm going to tell you about it. But a couple of times this year, I've mentioned, like on a live stream, I'm really busy this week. I've got Project X. Okay,
Right.
so you can wind me up with Project X. How are you getting on with Project X? And I'll say I'm doing very well. Thank you very much. But that'll be fun, and that's a dedicated product for the US. You're going to love it, Mr. Duffy.
Yes.
You're going to love it.
And there's a rumor that you might visit the US.
There's a rumor. Well, when we were going to Iceland for a week with the four of us, because we've got two children,
Right.
grown up now, and in the middle of the night in Manchester, which is a couple hundred miles from here, we woke up. She woke me up in the middle of the night. She said, I'm not feeling very well. And we came home. It's like we're destined. Every time we want to travel, something goes wrong. So if I do come over, it'll probably be on my own. Literally be on my own. It'll be a flying visit. I'll bring one pen for the signatures.
Okay.
Callum, 73.
Well,
But that'll be next. When's your big Hamfest thing? Is it May?
May, yes.
Yeah. I haven't thought about it yet, but I like the rumor. Yeah, it's a good rumor. Yeah,
It's a good rumor, and we'll see what happens. But until then, with the solar flux going up and lots of sunspots.
yeah.
I mean, the DX Commander is a great antenna for all the HF bands, the high bands that we've been waiting for years.
I can't believe it. I had a VK call me on 10 meters the other day, and I always thought for 10 meters you would need to get at least a wavelength off the ground with a vertical, just to get that low angle. But he was S9. It's amazing. And then last week, I've been doing a series on parasitic and phased verticals. So you can take a DX commander, get another pole, and make a little parasitic reflector.
Right.
So I ran a pile up on 40, for instance, a couple of weeks ago into the US. It was late my time. It was just got dark your end,
Right.
That was good fun. That was good fun. But yeah, from 40 up or 80, you can put the inverted L up on, or buy the bigger one, the 12 or the 18, and have a dedicated 80. You got to be, these big DX antennas for 80 and 40. They're nighttime, aren't they? Really.
Right.
For the daytime, a dipole up an apple tree at 20 feet off the ground. Well, for 99% of the time, it's great. It just works. But then, you do hear, like I heard in the old days, I would hear, that massive signal K3LR coming through either on CQ Worldwide or WPX. Sometimes, and I just got it in my back garden here, my backyard, I had a little dipole. A funny story for you, Tim, before you go. So I remember actually saying it was 11 o'clock daylight here in the morning.
Right.
And on 40 meters, I think it was K3LR, was still running numbers into Europe.
Yes.
Okay. 11 daylight my time. I mean, it's like 3 hours after sunrise. And I thought, there's no way they're going to hear me, right? And so I keyed up, Mike 0, Mike Charlie X-ray. And I remember the operator that was running 40 at the time goes, whoa, big signal. M0MCX. Now I know it's your 200 foot of bloody steel up in the air, sucking me in.
Well, that's the magic of 40 meters.
It's fantastic.
Sometimes it can be noon in London, and it's no problem at all. So that happens. But the great thing is that a lot of average guys with 100 watts can get a DX Commander antenna.
Yeah,
they can get it on the bands. They can have.
That's right.
And Callum, that's what this is all about.
It's
getting
the 100
there and having fun.
You're absolutely right. It's that because I run some big power and parasitic arrays and all sorts of stuff. As long as I can hear the little guy with DX Commander in Maine, Pennsylvania, Florida, or whatever, on 40 this is, and I had a load of DX Commanders call me the other night on 40 on 100 watts. And that's the key. As long as I can hit him a 100-watt station, I know I'm not putting out too much power, and he's pretty efficient.
Right.
Have we flogged the old horse to death yet, Tim? Because I know you're always on a really tight schedule.
Yeah, we do. And Callum, it's always great to have you on, especially around the holidays here. This has been great fun. and we're going to have even more fun as we get into 2024. But if any of the viewers out there are looking for a very efficient, very fun antenna, the DX Commander is the way to go. And here in the U.S., it is only available at DX Engineering. And Callum, thank you so much.
The force is strong, Mr. Murray.
Okay. So, Callum, Merry Christmas to you, and we'll talk to you in the new year.
Top banana. Thank you very much, sir. Thanks for having me on the show, and a very good day, everybody.
Alrighty. 73 from DX Engineering.